Hey, Tank.
Rocking out.
I killed the music. I just started up as normal. Sorry about that, guys. There was some message that popped up from YouTube, and it said that we're going to kill your broadcast if you continue to broadcast other people's content. Interesting, huh?
That's interesting. Did it pop up in the form of like a little devil? Because that's kind of how I feel it would look.
Yeah, no, it was a blue box with some
okay.
in here, right up here in the corner, and I said, "Oh, really? Okay," and then poof.
Gone. We're gonna kill your broadcast now.
Yeah, that was it. So, well, that was interesting enough anyway. But I'm glad we were able to get back on pretty quickly. I just used my broadcast from the next day's link because the other one was gone. Right, so that's all right. So you know how many people are now. Let me get on here and see how many people have caught back up with where we're gone. We got 42 people watching. I guess they're catching back up. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the broadcast. It's
malo.
I don't think that they like these Trump, pro-Trump videos.
No, absolutely not.
For them,
YouTube, you guys are awesome. You have the best product out there. If you would just use it for the forces of good.
Yeah, really. Do it for the forces of good. And that's the thing. They're in their delusion, all right, that they are doing the right thing, right? World domination, by them is correct. Their political idea of a world dictatorship is correct. So they're doing what they think is correct. The thing is, they built this on us with an agreement. Doesn't matter the fine print. Whatever they change in their terms and conditions along the way, to expect people are going to read that and have a legal degree to understand the nuances, and then they don't even spell it all completely. They make it community guidelines and so on. And it's very ambiguous terms. So basically their decision. But that wasn't what the agreement between us is. It doesn't matter the words. It matters what the social agreement has been. The social agreement was, you help build our network, our platform, and we'll let you put up anything you want, right? And they did make some community guidelines, so you don't, maybe certain things that were against the law, right? Those things that's appropriate. But now when they get into to really just anything that they dislike, for them to come down hard on it, right, is not our agreement. You're breaking the agreement.
Now,
not in the legalese agreement, because you can change those terms and agreement anytime. But that's not our social agreement. And then on regards to monetization, all these little tricks that they're using to say, oh, well, we demonetize yours automatically from some AI looking at it, and the AI didn't like what you said, so we're removing the monetization. But we'll let you go ahead and view. We'll let it run, right? But after 1,000 views, we'll review it if you ask us to. But if a video never gets 1,000 views, or even like most of the videos we're doing right now are getting like 2,000 views over a week, right? So if they only review after 1,000, that means half of the revenue is cut. But they still have the advantage of the content going on their platform.
Right.
So they've broken the social agreement, regardless of the legalese in their text, which is what they can change at any time. So this is the other problem is that their money to do this came from us.
my gosh, if I didn't know any better, I could take everything you just said and I could apply that to the banking industry. I mean, identical. I mean, it's like amazing. It's like, wait a minute, we have a contract. You're supposed to keep my money and make money for me, right? You're not supposed to take it and then not let me have any money.
Right.
And designate me as a slave. you know, suppress my ability to do things, right? And that's exactly what they're doing. But not for long. Not for long. So enjoy it while you can, guys, because that time is rapidly coming. Matter of fact, it is at an end. It is at an end.
Do
But
we have do we have any announcements? What's the word? What's
I can, I threw something at Kim today, which does, happens from time to time. I was kind of throwing out this idea, which is really what she had already done, which was, if we as you know, the owner, right, of the funds or the transfer, or the project owner, right, or the one who would hold, a code. Now, all of the create change original contracts, all the members, they all received a transfer code, for them to download funds, right? So they received an account number and a transfer code. Now, I'm not saying this to go and try and use that, by the way. I'm just using that as an example. So there was about 100 of those, let's say, all together to go out, and so that code was held by that individual, right? So then the idea would be that the money gets transferred in. So if Kim got it to the teller level, you basically you make it so when that gets there, all the teller can see is when they put the account number in is a black screen, right? And then the code has to be put in by the actual individual. Now the code itself really doesn't matter because it's actually the DNA code, but the catch is we have to be allowed to put it in ourselves, right? For the system to read it. So that's kind of where we're at, right? So I did that at her, and she told me that she's, successfully made 10 transfers into the United States right now, just like right now, and they did not get put back to compliance, right? But at the banking level, they did not allow us to actually punch in the codes. They wouldn't allow us to do it. So because of that, we don't have the money. But you obviously, she is the one who has put up the capital loan, which is funding all of these major banks. So they don't have any business. She is absolutely their owner, their employer, right? She is the one who has given them the funds, and she can always pull that money back, right? So every single bank employee who wants to operate with the they would often be given these burner phones, and they would and somebody would call them and tell them not to let something happen, right? Don't let that go through. Don't let them do this. And they're still hanging on by a thread right now, doing all that they can to try to keep us from getting that money. But let me tell you something: it does not matter, because this thing, this part of it, this little obstacle is finished, and despite impossible odds, humanity has somehow found a way to stand up in the midst of this. So it's, they can try to come up with their next diabolical scheme or whatever it is they're doing. It really, really doesn't matter. This is game over, lights out. They've lost. Matter of fact, they should all be jumping sides. They should be terrified and trying to come over and really try to do the right thing right now. Because you know what? The banks that actually work with us, they're going to be the ones who are going to be, are just going to be, who are going to survive this. So I'm thrilled about that. I'm very excited about that. I'm bummed out I don't have actual spendable cash at the moment. But the fact that I understand well, I don't say exactly, but for the most part, what's going on, that always makes me feel a little bit more at peace.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it's I'm taking another step. Yeah, the getting it into the hands of individuals is what matters. So this would be great if it was the last day before that happened. So, yeah, I'm sure that there are that they're hanging on by a thread, but using burner phones, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
they've been doing that for years, though. I mean, that's standard protocol. You know, everybody's given like a secret burner phone, and they know if that phone rings, you better do whatever that person says when you pick up that phone. You better do it. It's like kind of their contract with the devil. You know, that's how you get to have a job. As vice president of a bank, making a couple $100,000 a year, basically doing nothing.
Yeah. Here's your burner phone.
Yeah.
Can Kim call them?
We've done that before. I've been on calls where you know with Kim where we're calling into the banks and
On the burner
and
phones?
oh, not on the burner phone. Sorry, no. Oh no, but that would be brilliant if we had that exact connection in that moment, I guess. You know, but
Yeah, I say, hey, listen, there's some big transfers coming through. Let them all roll.
well, we have to figure out who each individual's handler is, and they usually work for MS-13, right? And they're gonna, it's gonna be somebody from some connection to Blackwater. All that stuff's, that's the what happens. So, like these people, they make threats on your life and your kids, and those are all real things, and it's tough. This is very true. Um, you know, you and I both kind of talked about this today too. Is like it's really hard. You can't hold people, even these people in banking positions, too responsible. I mean, at least a lot of them, or most of them, right? Most of them are just following the orders of their superior, right? They don't want to lose their job. You know, the same holds true with the military. The same holds true, um, just a lot of different arenas, right? These corporations that are all doing the same thing. They call up and they threaten biblical genocide. We will kill you. We will kill your family. We will kill everybody in your life, right? And they make these threats. Now, I will tell you this: they don't have the money to pay the mercenaries to go do that. So, if you're being threatened that way, that threat is hollow. It's hollow. They cannot back that up. And if there's any mercenaries who have not been paid by them, you can call me directly and I will make sure that you get access to your real funds, but you have to be on our side after that. But
Well,
their whole
that's
concept.
was that an offer you've made before?
I many times. Yep.
So,
But that's a very legitimate, true, real offer. All of the guys working at the Citadel, all the people that are working. I'll tell you something. Actually, Kim wrote this a while back, and it's worth pulling up. Um, she really hammered this to them, and it was so powerful. I'm gonna just 1 second, Dan. Go ahead and
sure, no problem.
fill some space. 1 second.
Fill some space. Sorry, I didn't catch that. I was thinking about something, but I was imagining these guys in MS-13 wearing business suits. Every time you see members of MS-13, they're all shirtless with tattoos from top to bottom. So if they're the handlers, that would be interesting. But this is definitely a mob rule. The rules of the mob. Look at the Hillary's background. Her family is mobsters. You trace back these really powerful people. Nancy Pelosi, again, mobster daughter. So this is a infiltration of the whole governance, by these people from the beginning. So the idea that anyone that is a normal, man or woman that wants to be in office can get in. They can't because it's controlled. It's a control. If by some way you have notoriety and then you break through, like Trump, everyone knew who Trump was, right? But they didn't have control over him and who he was and morals. They didn't shape him through their their system of control. And their system of control is go down the path of the dark side, do the darker and darker things, and then you will be on in a position of power and more power and more power. So if anyone tries to get in and from who is of good moral character, they find themselves hitting a wall, and they can't even quite tell that the wall is there. You say say Ross Perot, for example, made his money, was famous for other things, came into it. He was bounced, right? But why? Because they threatened his family. So he left it. So a lot of people can't maintain that, or they don't have that. Trump was able to be Superman. He was able to literally plant the flag back on top of the Capitol and do it. So that was why me starting with that video was really good. I never saw though that that YouTube knows what you're broadcasting while you're broadcasting, knows that you're talking bad about it while you're talking bad about it. Why? Because the AI is always listening, right? So this is really a wake up on many fronts. So we know if we're going to be doing this moving forward, we need to realize what has been built so that we can take it over. Change it to be the positive. So, you're back, Tank.
Yes, sir. Keep talking. I'm listening.
Oh, it's all right. I'm just filling time here.
Oh, okay. So so October 26th, man. I just sent you the link if you want to throw it up.
Okay.
Because I think it's really powerful to show. Actually, I sent you the clip from that Sidori made as well on your WhatsApp as well. I don't know if you'll be able to get it though.
I mean, I can get WhatsApp, but I've got to do device gymnastics.
No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. No, that's fine. It's just it's the red pill scene, right? Like where he's offering him. So
there's us and there is them. Is that the one?
Yeah. Now Kim wrote this back in October, obviously, right? October 26th, 2018, right? So she quotes the Matrix, right? The Matrix is a system, Neo. The system is our enemy, but when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inured, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. Right? Now,
Morpheus.
Yeah, that's what. But the rest of that article, if you have not read this, this is. I mean, Kim actually wrote this, and it is really really powerful because when she writes something, it's she's not coming out to do like op-eds. She's writing something in direct response to something happening and some action she just took. Right. So it's like it's really powerful stuff, and it's just worth the time because that is the monster that we're up against, right?
Right.
Because it's for the people that aren't awake and they're part of the system, right? We're talking to you, right? And This is what this now. It's not everybody because first when I started bringing things out, I had a couple of I had quite a few people who were very upset with the tone I was taking with people, and I said I'm not talking to the people that bought currency. And I was very clear. I thought I was very clear, right? I wasn't talking to those people. I was talking to the guys, to all the Chinese elders, the Rothschilds, all of these groups, all these secret groups who think that they're the next ones to rule the world. I was talking to all of them because all of them want to rule the world at our expense.
Right. As the new slave masters, they're all jockeying for position. So the different factions say, "Well, I'm going to be the one. I'm going to be the one." Well, it looks like there's no leader in the Bush faction, right? That's why the Black Dragon position is like now floating, right? It's
Yeah,
jumping from head to head to head. You
there's
know,
that
there's
company called
Nancy.
Sirius, right? That like they hire like temporary CEOs.
Yeah.
That's who the Black Dragon's hired to assign the next Black Dragon. Everybody who comes in is just temporary.
So Nancy Pelosi had it for what, about 2 months, something like that.
Yeah. And I mean, she was the most obvious Black Dragon in the world, right? Like she
Well,
was
she had her
acting.
power scepter on her clothing, right? She was wearing that brooch that was a staff of power of the Roman Empire, right? So
That's
obviously she was proclaiming her power, and then she commanded her people to go ahead and clap. Go ahead, you know.
I'm up here. Yeah, like she just this ominous character. It's just such garbage. And then she was going to kill them. So just to let you know how they do business, right? She helped plan the destruction of the Capitol building while President Trump was going to give the State of the Union address, right? And in that, as evidence to that, she would have been out of town with 96 members of her family. Now, why would she travel with 96 members of her family? Could it be because she was about to launch the zombie apocalypse in the United States? Because if that would have happened, and this is true. Now, they weren't positioned to do this as well in 2001, but now you
and
have the
and then Trump canceled her flight.
I know. She's like, cancel the attack.
That's why they're pulled over on the side of the road, right? In those shuttle buses, and they're saying, "Cancel, cancel."
Well, what disgusts me is that we're still making negotiations with these people. They don't have a right to negotiate. You tried to kill everybody, everybody, and even those people in the Senate and in the Congress who later they've since been blackmailed about something else, right? They were turning on her, right? Because she put this out there, right? Like she didn't put it out there, but like this was the plan. And when the plan was outed, that she had a planned attack to blow up the Capitol building, and the goal was to do as much damage as possible. So you have to think it would have been a catastrophic, you know, move, right? So I'm sure they would have amped it up somehow. And
Right.
all those people who are, her comrades in the, cabal, the deep state, they would have died too. Democrats
And where
and
was
Republicans.
Pence at during this, right?
He would have been there too. He,
He would
he
have
would have
been
gone.
there, and so he's all made the deal with her, right?
Mhm.
And then he's also going as a was on the chopping block. The whole Congress was on the chopping block, but they're still going along with it. Right? But
Now,
now it's with who's it with now? Jared Rand.
wait, what about Jerry Rand?
What was it? Is he the new Black Dragon?
I don't think so.
No.
That's my knowledge. No.
Oh, I might
What
be.
do
I'm sorry. I might have misspoke. The individual. Who's the head of Blackwater?
Oh, Eric Prince.
Eric Prince. Sorry. Yeah. Where did that name Jared Rand? I don't.
But
Who's
I
Jared
think
Rand?
Jared Rand is the guy from Rand Corp who would showed up in Denarland to try to sway me to the dark side or whatever.
Okay. I guess that's. I remember we were having that discussion. That's where the name came from. So sorry about that.
Ah,
Didn't
that's okay.
misplace which bad player was with what hat. A different role. So okay. Eric Prince. Is he still currently the current Black Dragon?
Well, they usually give them one big failure. So, he took President Trump out to Vietnam, right?
Right. For the
And the Secret
27
Secret
trillion in
Service,
cash.
right? Yeah, which was printed up in North Korea with the Rothschild provided a De La Rue machine, and it wasn't there. All the vaults have been emptied, like we've told everybody, including now. By the way, that doesn't mean that if you went into a vault in 2005 or 2008 or 2010 and the vault was packed with tons of stuff, that doesn't mean that didn't happen. You are right. The vaults do exist and they have had plenty of assets. But as of right now, the vaults that you have been in, they're empty. And I guarantee you no one has been in them since they were emptied for the most part because they all still think there's something in them. So, Mr. Keenan and Mr. Kramer, I regret to inform you that there's nothing in the vaults, but I do wish you luck opening them. And please send pictures because that would be amazing. And if there is dragons there, that would be epic.
Well, okay, I'm just a little flashback because that was like the Al Capone vault when Geraldo Rivera was opening Al Capone's vault.
Yeah.
And then there was nothing in it.
Yep.
Like the whole house. So when I was going to open up the secret tomb in Illinois of the pharaohs, right?
Right.
And Dan Aykroyd was going to be the guy that was going to be doing the opening. He insisted that we know first by opening it first, if there's something in there, and then after we find out there's something in there, then he would go ahead and say, okay, we're opening for the first time.
So funny.
Well, that's just fine, I don't really think that's a problem. It's like it's the drama of it, but he didn't want to be in Geraldo's position, right? How much ribbing did Geraldo get? He probably still gets ribbed about that. It happened like 20 years ago or something like that.
I'm sure.
So anyway, there's nothing in the vaults, and I know that I heard Thomas say this over the last year when he brings that up and he talks about a lot of those vaults have been cleared. There's nothing in them. So where did all the stuff go though?
Oh, so there is other vaults that are underground. There's tunnels that go underground that you can get anywhere on the planet very, very fast.
So there's 27 trillion in cash.
I'm sure that was incinerated because it was fake.
Can't we just distribute the cash?
No, it's fake. It's all duplicate.
Yeah. Well, all the money is fake now, so what difference does it make?
Exactly what they want you to do. They want us bought into their system, so we keep perpetuating fakeness, right?
Let's keep it going, man.
This is the one chance we get to actually build from the ground up and make a new world, and that's amazing, right? That's what we get to do.
Well, can we do a bonfire?
That would be. I mean, I think people would be reluctant to be hedging their bets, right? Probably still holding on to Confederate dollars and things like that.
Yeah, I got my Confederate dollars. I've got my Zim.
Yeah.
Just so you know, the GCR is happening today. I was told this last night.
Well, that means that Kim is probably on the runabout now because usually they try to kill her when that happens, and they try to hack the trust. So that would make sense. That's why the banks didn't cooperate yet, right? Because they never cooperate because they think the GCR is about to happen.
Right.
So they accepted the capital loan because they had to because the economy was going to crash. But they're banking on the RV happening, right? That's going to change everything. Well, tomorrow night when that doesn't happen again, and I've been saying this for a year straight, everywhere, every place, every chance I get, it is not going to happen. Ever, because if it did, the economy would be demolished. Now, you're really seeing that play out. Oh, by the way, I don't know if we have time now, but Candace Owens torched Congress today. She called them out.
Oh, yeah. I
don't know if you saw it. It was awesome. Yeah. I mean, she's my favorite. I love her. She's definitely I'm not one to get get starstruck by anybody. I'm not starstruck by her either.
Oh yeah, she slapped them down hard, right? And she said, "Well, don't you call me stupid?"
and by the way, notice this is the movement, just so everybody knows, and we started it. Focus on what matters. That's what she said too. She's like, "Why isn't anybody talking about this and this?" Right? They're talking about the issues that fit the campaign, not the people. Nobody. They're not worried about actually.
Yeah, why are you showing this little tiny snippet of a clip? The whole explanation has to do with what the question was asked, and then this response, and then things that are in context of what this whole thing is. Why are you trying to label me as stupid? Or was it a xenophobe, whatever, whatever the label that was being presented. I actually saw. I didn't see the whole straightforward. I saw someone who edited down the important parts to show what was said, kind of thing. So I saw a snippet, but I got the context of what she was saying. She nailed them good.
Yeah, she did. So I appreciate that.
Hey, do you want to go through this whole article? Or
Yeah,
not?
yeah. You know what? We can go through it. I can read it if you want. I think
Go
that's
ahead.
a good idea. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is
we'll just start over because, and then it'll be good if we ever do edit these down into small bite-sized chunks.
right. Yep. Okay. So
here
we go. So October 26th, 2018. This is written by Kimberly Ann Gogan, who we affectionately call Kim Possible. There is us and there is them. The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around. What do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand most of these people are not ready to be unplugged, and many of them are so inured, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. Morpheus from the movie The Matrix. Now, this is Kim's writing. This is for them, those who are not awake, those who are not aware. This has to be said. The system, not a computer system, the system. The system I speak of is one of slavery, one of abuse, one of total control over humanity. This is for you, the slave masters, the slaves, the ones who are fighting to protect the system. Okay. Do you know what you are trying to protect? Do you know who is running this flawed system? The system is broken. It has been slowly breaking down for the last 2 years. It is breaking not because of us, the awake and aware. It is breaking because it is severely flawed. You are missing it. It never was a sustainable system. It was always meant to break. Non-compete plan, the harvest, the order does not have a plan. They are dependent on you, the people, fighting to protect the system, to create what you create what you may ask. I'm not sure what you meant there. To create a plan to preserve the system of slavery they covet so dear. Why do they need you? Because they are not the creators of the universe. They are not the thinkers on this planet. They have always been people herders, slave masters, if you will. The thinkers have left them, and now all they have is you. So you fight every day to preserve the broken down system without a second thought, diligently killing people, raping children, stealing money and resources for the masters you believe in. Why do you believe in them? Is it a cycle of abuse? Stockholm syndrome? Come on, people that work for them. Haven't you noticed you are running around spending your own time, your own money, carrying out plans that you created? Have you not noticed it is not working? You are plugging Hoover Dam with bubble gum and the dam is bursting. There are no sides in this war. There is only what is real and what is not. You are fighting to protect that which is a fantasy while we are fighting for what is real. Let me explain. The deep state. We all we all know who these people are. The ones who are making very futile attempt to control governments, to control financial systems. They are in every country, your central bank governors, your various officials who will fight to protect the slave masters' control over the people. Why do they need you? By you, I mean the central bank governors who take the calls and promises of billions of dollars to keep your country broke on its knees. Some of you work for agencies, the IMF, the World Bank, mercenary groups, Parliament, Congress. Do you know what you are fighting for? You know you are trying to destroy people going against the system, going against their way of life. You are mistaken. This is not correct. The system was designed to break down by 2017, set to self destruct. As for me, I am logical. I know when something goes down, something else will always take its place. Are we fighting you? No. We have disregarded your failed attempts to preserve something which is already gone. We are implementing a new system which is based on the creative thinking of humanity, the sovereignty of nations, a people, or excuse me, a way of life based on the theory people are creators. Given the opportunity, they will and can create a harmonious nation and harmony between nations. 99% of all wars were fabricated. They made you believe they're real. False intel, false flags, fake media, false financial hardships, just to keep you enslaved in their fatally flawed system. They brand products on our television to keep us hopelessly dependent on their debt based system of created currencies that have no real value other than the one they place on it. Send us messages on fake news to make us believe these are the bad people, those are the bad people, these are the bad people, and those are the bad people. Wake up. The system is broken. It will not continue, even if we, humanity, do nothing. We, humanity, need to put something else in its place before it's too late. The order, also the cabal. These people run around giving you orders to you, the enslaved ones. You follow blindly. You do not realize these people were never the order makers. They did not create the plan, and most certainly they did not create the system. Please stop calling them benevolent or gods or kings or masters. Well, the term master may have been correct. They were the slave masters of humanity, promising you week in and week out billions of dollars or whatever currency to save humanity. They claim to be humanitarians, but hold on. Then they say, it is not time yet. Just wait. To which you respond, okay, master, just so you, the creative beings of this universe, do nothing. Do you know what you are saying? You are blindly following people which you are calling master, and for what? What did they do when they did have control over the money and resources of the world? All on behalf of their masters as well. Did they feed the poor? Feed the nations? Stop war? Stop crime? No. They fed us poison. They salted the earth so we could only eat their poison. They created wars to make them money. They stole from us and raped our children. They created terrorist organizations to keep us in fear. They created diseases and treatments that slowly killed our loved ones so we would take more of their poison, believing their disease was medicine. I am talking about your dragon families, Rothschild, the Nazis, the Chinese elders. Yes, you reading this, the slaves that follow them all so blindly. Why, oh, why do you follow? Why do you call these people master and follow so blindly? The system is flawed. The system is broken. There must be a new system to take its place. They all have no clue. Humanity will not tolerate a system of control anymore. They created the internet, they created smartphones. People all over the world understand the system is broken. It is too late. The entire world will never follow a flawed system. The majority will not follow. So they say they will kill us, all leaving only their followers. Flawed. You have been feeding us poison and disease so long we are immune. That is right. You unknowingly created our solution while feeding your insanity. The corporates, the non compete plan, 70 years of planning, you say? Explain the control structure of every industry in the world. The Majestic 12 and the SSP were fed technology to disperse to the masses. The very creations they sell to us have created their downfall. Yes, they still feed us poison. They still feed us their flawed, hopelessly antiquated tech. But what happened? Like a virus that mutates itself to become immune to antibiotics, which are designed to treat humanity, has mutated to overcome these fatally flawed corporate controls. We use your smartphones, your internet, your social networks to communicate with each other. This has created portals to realize the branding coming from your corporates, your drug companies, your Council on Foreign Relations, your United Nations is not real. We talk to people in the countries you call the bad guys, the boogeyman. We have computer systems that provide us with proper intelligence information, and now you are full of it. We fly in our planes, we travel in your cars, we shake hands with each other in nations all over the world now. Didn't you realize what you were doing? You have hit the precipice, the peak, and now we are on the other side. Your methods of control are broken by the very technology you feed us. It's over. Did you actually think they provided you with military technology that had any hope of defending yourselves in a real war? Absolutely. They gave you this tech, and all you could think about was money, money, money. They fed you. They fed you your demise. They gave us the tools to our freedom. Now it is too late. The system is broken. The system is dead. You are fighting to revive a dead horse. It's over. Your greed and ego have been your downfall. President Trump is aware. President Putin is aware. Many African heads of state are aware. Many South American heads of state are aware. Many agency people around the world are aware. Even the History Channel reports it. When will you wake up? Final note, the system is broken. It will not come back. A new system is forming. It is being created whether or not we participate. When something goes down, something else will come up. That is nature. What will you choose? You can sit and just wait for your slave masters, or you can become your own master and participate. You can continue to try to kill all that refuse to follow the crumbling remnants of a flawed system, or realize there is no system and follow reality. It is not coming, it is here. Choose wisely. That is from
Impossible.
the royal monarch and sole sovereign of the planet. Just FYI. So I would take those things very, very seriously. Um, you know, it's just it's powerful truth. I mean, when you really think about it,
So listen,
we
I stopped. Well, I sent Tui the link, and you have only 8 minutes before your next meeting.
yes, very excited about that. And I'm actually I'll jump off so you can keep talking about this, but just let everybody know. For those of you who don't know, Tesla was part of a uh, Christian ministry, and that Christian ministry is very advanced in their way of looking at Christianity and the Bible and things of that nature. And they're filled with scientists and engineers and inventors, and they have a lot of amazing technology. And a lot of it they have made, and it has been stolen, by men in black type characters, and they've been kind of laying back, not sure what to do, unable to kind of bring things forward. And I'm gonna go on their little show, their show tonight, and talk to them. And I don't know that it's open. I think it's just for their members, but I'm gonna go on that tonight and learn more about it. Should be pretty exciting. And but I'm certain that they are one of the groups that I've been waiting for uh, to come out of the shadows, so to speak. And I can't wait to fund all of this amazing technology they have and use it to, revitalize humanity. So,
That's
so
wonderful.
Kim's right. Yeah.
So just keep in mind, I own the domain antigravity.com.
Yes, indeed. And you
I've,
and that was a clue to everyone because there's a lot of amazing, cool stuff they have. I can't wait to see. Really amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Some of it just simple, good-hearted, fun stuff too. So, I'm gonna jump off Dan now, and that way
okay.
I don't disrupt the flow. And I will talk to everybody later.
All right, sounds good. All right. Well, good luck on that call, and excited to know what's going to come of it. And invite them on
Yeah,
if they'd like to join us. Please have them join us.
I definitely will do that. All right. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, later. So that was a amazing article from Kim. Again, it's on the speakproject.net. Well, it's a project. I'm sorry, I should say it right. It's projectspeak.net. You can find it on the blogs. Please register on that site so you get notification when a blog is posted. So then you'll be able to keep up with those things. That's one very good thing about how if you register, you're able to keep up on some of these things. So again, I did post the link with Tui. So Tui, if you want to jump on and talk about this, that's fine. I'll also post the link with our chat group here, so we can talk about these things, and then I'm gonna dive in a little bit more into what is actually on was on in that article. What we're talking about, So we have a system that everyone has been participating in, not realizing that it is something other. It is the Gilded Cage. It's like I find it interesting with the people that believe in the flat Earth, right? This psyop that's gone on, that they believe that we have a big dome covering us, right? Okay. So this is interesting because in fact we do, but not in a physical way, in the way that as in the movie, was that Jim Carrey movie? I forgot what it was called. But he lived in a domed world, and it was very limited. You couldn't go past this one place. Yeah. Also, another movie like that, 13th Floor, right, which is multiple dimensions. You're actually in a computer simulation. So all these have some relevance because what it really is talking about is that we have a contained environment, and we are the experiment in the petri dish. And so the things that have been put in place, we're born into it, right? And though we through our lives we experience what we're told the reality is, and then when we experience something that is counter to it, we kind of like file that behind us and say, there's something quite wrong. That shit's not supposed to be this way. Whether it's in politics or whether it's in business, whether it's in community, there's something other, and that something other. If you start to discover it, they'll want to go ahead and medicate you. Okay, they'll want to say you're crazy because it's the system defending itself. It's part of its defense structure, right? It's put in place in that way so people will know to check it out, right? This is if you start talking about this, go to a help group, right? And or get to a psychologist, get to your doctor. So it's again to contain the issue. But if you were able to pierce through a long time ago and kind of establish your own fortress of solitude, where you can maintain, say, listen, I've got this information, I know that this is real, then that what's they're showing here is not real. So but when we've come to the point where there's enough of us that are awake that we have the resistance, the rebellion, we can see that they never planned on a Trump taking office, right? Because that's the outside. This is something will happen, and they've tried to deal with it, and now everything that they put up to deal with it has now failed. So now the reverse is happening. We have now the attack moving forward. It's not about defense; it's about attack, and this is going to happen on a spiritual level. And I'm speaking in military terms, though, like with TUI coming on, it isn't about a military thing. It's actually just an act of what is happening. It is supposed to happen. But it is against the other system. It is basically to set aside the other system. So that way it's a front in the war. So in the context in which I'm speaking about, we have this rebellion that is formed. The people are rising up, but it's not just in a physical. It's in communication. It's in energy. It's in spirit. It's in our minds. We have to think different. That's Thomas Williams. That's a very good thing. Think different. I've been talking last 3 years about don't think out of a scarcity mindset. Think out of abundance. If you think out of scarcity, you're putting yourself in a position of wanting only to fend for yourself, afraid you're not going to have something for tomorrow. You won't be able to pay this bill. You won't be able to have food. You won't be able to travel. All of these fear things that come in, which that fear disables the creative. So being creative and be able to create another scenario in which you survive, which it is okay, which those things happen. So the scarcity mindset is meant to, create fear. We think abundantly. There's always something that can come about and change everything in a moment. And that's what we're doing. We're changing everything in the moment. we are look at the expansion that's happening with the amount of people that are contacting us, and this, going off of what Tank is doing right now to speak with the people. There's Tesla's group. It's a Christian Bible study, but so with Tesla was the leader of it at one time. So this is a unique. How does this happen? This is about bringing this technology forward. This stuff that the people who have learned, who went out and did patents, and then, well, if I patent it, I know that they're not going to allow it to happen. So that people have learned that. I met many inventors. As I said, I had a business, anti-gravity products, anti-gravity workshop, anti-gravity labs. I've talked with many people about anti-gravity. I know inventions that existed about anti-gravity. And those people that were in it long before I was, they were already, way into it, probably from the 40s and 50s. And they had found out that, filing for patents means this is how you lose control over your technology, not how you protect yourself, which is again what they're presenting to everyone. The false reality is that you're getting protected. The reality is that they're going to now see if they want to steal it from you and stop you from producing it. So a lot of them now do things out of secret. That's why it doesn't make it into the world in a way. But we're very clever when we're being creative, right? And so there's many things that have actually been deployed around the world that people don't even know about. Technology that exists, that is that the cabal never knew was out there. And one day they will know that technology is made out there because they've learned. People learn what the system is, and they've worked their way around it. The rebellion has been underground, and now the rebellion is now out front and center. So, this is something that has been out there for brewing, and now we know that we're at this point where we're going to make a big difference. We have the QAnon movement forging a new path of information. They are the news. When you're following the Q movement, you're watching the news, the real news as it's happened. There's only one channel. There's no multiple voice. There are some resources that rely on what's said in Q, but to repackage the 8chan because it's a little rough for some people to look. So qmap.pub is one that I like to use, and it has some interesting other tools to help you analyze what's going on. So I suggest you use that one. But this is another front in the war, right? This is another aspect of what is being laid out there. And one of the commanding generals has just entered the room here. So hello, Tui. If you're ready to talk, just jump on in. So
hi, Dan. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm still at the meeting, so I'm out now.
Oh, okay. That's no problem. So did you get to watch that? You've been in the meeting.
I've been in the meeting. I didn't watch the beginning.
So is there anything to tell us about the meeting? What happened?
Oh yeah. So today was we just discussed on a few things that we are going through as a nation. Or we would say the economic crisis that's impacting the lives of the people, and the plans to have a national strike. And so we've received that letter, a national strike for the teachers union and all the unions, and we will see. They plan to actually do it in the next month, the month of May, because they haven't been receiving the proper the wages within the last few months. And so We've already have strikes for the transportation, like the buses. We're having them right now. We're having strike on the airports. The people that looks after the because if Fiji is right on the center of a lot of air traffic, and there's these traffic towers that coordinate all the airlines or the planes that are flying over the Fiji airspace. The people that look after that are on strike right now because of the same reason of the pay that they are supposed to receive and not paying anymore for quite a long time now. So the government is trying to cut down on the expenses in the wages and all that, trying to adjust it so that some weeks they get paid, the next they don't get it, and the next week they get paid again, in a way that it can prolong the problems that are coming into the country. And so they're working, trying to calm the people down and say that we have a reserve in the foreign reserves that, and that's what they try to put up in parliament to tell people that they have all this backed up, and the groups that are here with me in the meeting, we're thankful that we are talking about the reality that's actually happening, not just here in Fiji but the rest of the world. And so in a sense, we are actually very happy that all these things is happening. And then
it's just good time, right?
Yes.
It's the time to stand up and take control over the situation.
Yes.
It's a good
and so
good thing you control the military.
Yeah, even the military are getting affected by it. And so we'll see what will happen in a couple of, because that's one of the things the government is trying to control right now, because of our PM is actually used to be a commander for the military. So there's a lot of loyalty with him from the military. And I know that all this loyalty is just based on money, finance. And so as soon as that comes out, there will be a turmoil within the government, within that. So there are probabilities that we can actually, if we get in touch with the PM, and we can connect and we try and change it, trying to change the way the country is being run right now, on all the changes that is needed to actually help the people to live a fulfilling life, life of freedom. And that's just reorganizing the structure of the government. And so,
well, so part of this restructuring would be also for the government to accept the money again, right?
Say that again, Dan. Sorry.
I said part of the restructuring would be also to allow the government to accept the money from Kim, from the Holding Trust.
And so the first thing is the awareness. They need to know it first, because the awareness is we tried to reach out to them last year before the election, and they didn't believe it, because they've been, there's been money coming from this side, and now that's coming from a new party. They couldn't believe it, and they didn't trust what we were saying. And so I said, okay, there's always lesson to be learned, so we'll go ahead, learn that lesson, and then when everything's getting stuck, and then we'll be able to talk again. And so it's hanging on that agreement right there and then. Now a lot of them from the government officials are coming to the group that we are the chiefs, and we'll wait for the agreement from Kim, and what she thought and what she feels on these the letters that we sent to her, and we'll see we'll move forward from there. And this is the reason why we want to adjust the Mana World Holding Trust, or the Mana Kingdom, the Kingdom of Mana. It's because what they did, what Espa Element, what Espa Element did actually affected the way Kim was trying to do what she's done, the role that she's playing, and it affected her, and it turned it's supposed to be in a parasympathetic state of rest and regenerate to back to a sympathetic state of the cautiousness and not trusting anyone so easily. So if we always be stuck in that state, we won't be able to accelerate these changes that are happening. And so if we can, if the Kingdom of Man decides to change the course, if they don't, and that's the lesson that they will learn, and what it means to be sovereign, and the authority that they've been trying to claim that they get from somewhere else, from Kim. So we want them to learn this, and because we wanted them to understand that the mana is supposed to be done in unity and love, and not in separation. If it's done in separation and agreement, then we are just maintaining the Great White Throne, the system that they run things in the past. Because we wanted to do something good, but we are fighting ourselves, and that's the last thing that we have to do. Because we still think that we are in a state of war, and that's the state of war, of awareness of war, being separated, and be fighting amongst each other, and all it creates is fear, and all it creates is stagnant of the movement of energy. And so that will be put that in her capable hands, and all I do is just show out or let this be seen that this is actually happening, and it affects me from here, and I can feel the way the NI is been what you call this, has been trying to solve the problem. So we have to do it physically and tell Mana will hold no, Kingdom of Mana to retract from what they've done, and make sure that the claim, the name that they have, the Mana, and the authority that they're using to actually say that Kim is no longer the trust anymore because of the Universal Council has chosen someone else. This agreement is unknown to the new peace treaty that has happened, and if this is done just out of like the way we do business, like in the past, I'm sorry, there won't be any new illusion that will be created and be claimed to have authority for the new agreement.
Well, I think that I'm just while you're talking, I was thinking that the Kingdom of Mana needed to be, so that it can be looked at as this was the new path that we don't need to take, right? And instead, we need to come all together under a tribe of Mana, right?
Yes,
all of us together.
Yes, that's the path that is actually right now on we're on right now.
Yes.
The path of restoration and just regenerate. The mana just reorganizing itself because it was just learning, and so everyone on the planet, will have to realize that and give it a chance for that healing to happen. Yeah. We won't, that. Sorry, go ahead.
I said we're all of one. We're all of one. We're all Earthlings, right?
Yes.
I know. So we're of one tribe of Earth. We don't need 5 tribes or 12 tribes. We need only one tribe.
Yes.
We have geographical reasons why we're over here, over there. We have, philosophical reasons why we congregate in these groups of, different governances. There's kingdoms, there's democracies, there's republics, there's communism and social. So there's reasons why these are all separate groups, but we're all of one tribe.
Yes.
We're of a tribe of, not of, and we don't need to be in a kingdom, which is again that old thing that we don't want to be under kingdoms. As we're
like I said, it has not happened in a very long time, so it will take a learning experience for the collective or individual as a group or as a nation.
It's done. We're done with that lesson. Okay, next. It's okay.
Yeah, and so we are in this moment right now, which is very important. This is why I said yesterday that this point is what the galactics and all these people have been waiting for. the point of realization and realignment and recorrect of the path to freedom, because this is how they are existing. They know this, and from us, from them, we are the beginning, and from us, they are our future. And so they already know this, and this is the reason why we didn't want to. I told them not the physical me, but the awareness within me. There's no intervention. So they are all waiting for everyone to relearn how to be sovereign again, individually, and then as a family, then as tribes or as clans, wherever you are in the world. And then you, the only one that knows how to actually change yourself and change your environment. And so no one else from outside, I can come to the US and tell people in the US how to change. They will be able to do it, because that's the way they will learn their own sovereignty and the different structure that we all have, like you said. So it's a very big lesson of unity in multiple levels that will have to happen, and it's all happening. That's why we're talking right now. Very multi-level language. Then we have experience. Then we have all the different environments. Then we have all the different illusions. And then, yeah, and so it's. I mean, I'm just thankful that we're in that stage where we are not waiting anymore. We are now in contact with the king, with the trust that you can do that a few years ago. You can get straight and get connected to the trust. Now that this is happening, I'm overwhelmed with hope and thankfulness for the point of time right now. And so other people for here, we were just meeting, but I'm almost doing all the talking, because I'm telling everyone on what's happening and what is connecting them to the planet, not connecting them to this small nation here, but connecting them to the awareness of everyone on the planet. And together, when it's done all over the world, the sovereignty will just naturally just be remembered. So it cannot be done in just a few, just a minute or 1 hour. It will take a few days of learning because of the limitation of the human way of thinking and learning, whether through listening, whether through experiencing. And that's all the levels that that needs to be aligned and needs to be fully experienced to be able to get the full awareness and get the full wisdom on the new change. So yeah, it's been fun.
Right. Well, by your word, okay, fine. We need a few more days. Okay, fine. A few more days.
No, we can change it now. It's already changing now. Yeah, it's already changing now. It's just for example, for us, I'll put Fiji as an example. If that, because we're talking about the future, I will just talk about it just a little on how we are actually planning to do everything. We are going to change the whole structure of the government. We're going to change the whole. We'll be funding all the churches, and we'll be giving them all their budget for 10 to 20 years, or for every year, or for every 2 years. I don't want anyone church to be giving out tithe and offerings. And we'll be changing the structure of the income of everyone, the taxes, for not just the normal people that are building the projects on their own villages and their own families, but to the government that is running right now. We'll change the whole education structure, and we'll progress slowly to a structure that is more friendly to this learning, that people have to try and realize that the most important thing is the essence of life within them, and not things outside of them, or the money and all this.
So one of the goals to make a government right would be so that government is loved.
Yes.
Right? So if government is not collecting money from the people, because when they collect money from the people don't like that, right?
Yeah. So the problem, the different, in Fiji is a little different, because the structure of the government is slightly different. We have a native and we have the government. If they stop giving out license and all this, some of these things are not affected by the native people. But the only thing is that's truly affecting the native is the value, because they are valuing money outside, valuing money more than they used to value things before. And this is why the mana is lost, because people have been selling the mana, selling the fish, selling the plants, the animals, selling them, and they've lost that relationship, that connection to the land, to the environment, to the air, because they're focusing every day is the brainwashing program that they've been learning from school, from churches, from all this, and they've been. We will have to reprogram them or reprogram them. I mean, yeah, and so that has to be done physically, like through money and through Kim's out, and it will accelerate it so fast. Within a week they will realize how really this, how if these changes comes in, boom, the money is here. Within this week, then we are inviting you to come over. Yeah.
Okay.
If I will pay for everything. You don't worry. You just come. Everyone that's in the talk right now, everyone that is in the creation, the create change, and all this, everyone in Mana, we will all get you to Fiji. We'll put you, and we will have to learn this change together. And if it helps spreading that joy all over the places and all the different places in the world that you're at, then so be it. And we'll come to your places and we'll do the same thing with the native people there, with the people that are living there, realizing the change, and not just realizing it, but experiencing with your physical body. So it becomes so real that you can actually really forget about the past and all the pain and suffering, and stay focused on the now of the new change that we have. And so that is what we discussed. It's a lot of changes coming, but we'll need that alignment that Kim has to play her role. From a few days now, we have the Kingdom of Mana. I'll be sending email to her, to Espa Element, His Majesty Espa Element, and Dr. Stewart. So just gonna be a letter of love and reminding them that the mana is you have to stick to your word. If you don't stick to your word, then what's the use of writing all these contracts and putting down on paper if you can't even keep it up? Because that's the way you maintain the sovereignty within you, by maintaining the expression of the sovereignty outside. And if you can't maintain it, then we are still in the fighting mode of the old system of fear and fighting, and who's going to be in power and who's going to be in control. If we just learn to play our own role, everything will just work by the way it's supposed to go. And so that's we're at that point right now. And I'm thankful. The Galactics visited me last night. They are happy of the progress that's happening right now. And I said, yeah, I'm also happy. Yeah, I've never experienced this before, but we are all learning together as we move forward. And as we move forward into the everyday, and discussing it with you again today, it's been it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. It's more interesting every day, right?
yes, more interesting every day.
Indeed.
Sorry, where's Tank?
Tank had to attend another meeting with the group. They are Nikola Tesla's Bible study group that he started. And they have engineers and scientists and inventors that are all part of the Bible group. And so they invited him to their meeting. And so he left for that meeting.
That's good. That's the fifth element, people.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And
and
this is actually, yeah, it's as I say, more interesting. And so I can see these things. Oh, just another. You didn't hear this, but I was involved with anti-gravity type things in the past. I actually have the web domain antigravity.com. And,
I see.
And so I've had this domain since the early 90s. So I was in the very beginning of the internet, and when that first started in the beginning of the 90s, when I had that web domain.
See, it's definitely not a coincidence that we're meeting.
It's been one of those. I've had people offer me $50,000 for the domain, and I said, "Is that all? Only $50,000?"
$50,000.
I said at the time, I said, "Add another digit, we'll start talking." You know, maybe we'll start talking to you then, but maybe 7 digits, maybe okay. Maybe I'll let it go. But no.
So tell me, sorry, just, explain to me of this anti-gravity that you're talking about. Just tell me just the basic ideas on it.
You know, I'm philosophically opposed to gravity. You know, it's just
Yes.
I'm against it. I just don't
Yeah.
like gravity whatsoever. So I'm
There's
anti-gravity.
Right. Okay.
No,
There's no gravity.
I'm joking with
It's
you.
just.
It's a
Yes.
joke. It's my old time. But no, the original name of what anti-gravity means is things that float, right? Yeah,
Right.
they're defiant to gravity. They will float. And doing things that float in the air is one thing. Having them be propelled through the air is another. And actually,
Yeah, like balloon.
they're doing a data dump right now of I say U.S. military, call that their cabal of a anti-gravity flying triangle, right? There's now complete pictures of inside the craft, the people, the pilots, what it looks like. Here's the motors. Here's it sitting on the runway. You know, these things are just float, and they're propelled by jets, like a rocket, right?
Right.
So again, they can float, but to make them actually propel and go in a direction.
Yes.
I've seen technology personally propel things in anti-gravity in a way that rips the motors right off of the benches that they're bolted down to. They can be propelled. So that's just the amount of information they're trying to leak out. Say, oh, we're going to do this disclosure. We're going to talk about anti-gravity. Yeah, you can float, but you can't really go anywhere, right? That's the kind of put on us.
You'll have to use force to try and move yourself.
Yeah, you have to use some kind of force. But you don't have to. That's been solved so long ago. But to see that this is the data dump that they've done now. If you look, you'll find this information. It's popping up everywhere on YouTube because this is what they want to people is available. But that's not it. They're trying to keep us again in the box, trying to keep us from knowing what's possible. You know,
from one box to another.
One box to another. They're cutting a little window from this into the box, and it's into another box.
A little better box.
You know, they start with a little peephole. You can peek into the other box. Oh, that's an interesting box over there. You know?
Yes.
A whole new world. It's a whole new world, but it's really just a box.
But it's funny. It's not working. It's not working like it used to be. It's not working anymore. People are seeing through it.
No. There's too many people that really know. I mean, there's compartmentalizing. They rely on compartmentalizing the information. You're working on this. You only know this little circle of information. You don't know what this guy's working on, and he knows this little circle. So they keep compartmentalizing. And the grand overseers, you know, to see all the things, they play God, right? They're moving these pieces around. This is why they have the God complex, right? They think that they're God because they're pieces around on the board, but enough of these pieces really have much greater view than what they think they do. So, and those people have broken through. One of those people that I've known in my past when I had anti-gravity products running. Was Pete Peterson, who David Wilcox's main guys. I haven't seen him since he stopped by my office when he told me that they were evacuating California. This was in like the late 90s, right? And I went, evacuating? You're evacuating? What does that mean? You're evacuating? I know he's part of Skunk Works, which is a massive underground facility under the desert, north of Los Angeles.
Yes.
Lancaster area. These massive it's so that you could actually put a 747 plane through the tunnels right down there, right, and move 30 miles to the Air Force base. These massive, but they're going to evacuate that. I mean, that's what made any sense. Why would they be evacuating? It never made any sense that why they'd be evacuating California until this last year, and what they're doing to California with this, with the fires, creating with the DEW laser systems from space, destroying homes. Right? They're getting it ready for an invasion, and that was part of the reason why Trump is putting up a wall. It's because there was an invasion of people. It's going to be 150,000 people this month to breach the border, right? All to tear down the system, right? To cause an economic collapse. And then with destroying the homes of people from space, this is their craziness, right? Is that they think they can do this with impunity to a certain level. Yeah, they're doing it without people because they control the press, right? So only they get to show what they want people to see. Yeah, there's fires, but they don't talk about seeing lasers that are coming down and bursting things into flames. When you have people with phones, they're taking video of like, look at what's happening, and then put it out on the internet. People get aware, so now they're going to go after the power companies and the other companies that are behind that. So even they put smart meters in the homes so that they can direct the energy weapons. Where is it at?
Right.
This location. They have a. Why does your smart meter need to have a GPS location? It's been installed physically in a certain address. Why they don't get up and move around? Right. So anyway, there's all of this. So we're experiencing the Great Awakening, and people are aware. And so this is part of what we're doing in this broadcast, making people aware. Please share the video.
That's true.
Share the video. Share the
Please do.
If you've shared it before, share it again. Share it every day. Share it several times a day. Share it. Give a thumbs up, give positive comments, and just participate at this very base level at this time. Then there'll be a time where you'll be motivated to do some more things in regard to what we're talking about doing. Right? We're rebuilding the world. We're making the grand illusion.
That's why it's supposed to begin. The awareness, the spiritual inside within everyone. And so that's what we're doing right now. Even though it's still not physically changing the physical level yet, but the most important thing is the inwards awareness. That is the essence, which is mana. It has to just be being able to, just by talking about it, you'll be able to correct or reorganize it in a way that is beneficial to the awareness itself, and it's self-aware by. So it's so hard to explain in words, but yeah.
You can do a fantastic job. In English words that you only started speaking a month ago.
Yeah, so for me here, I'm doing that here in Fiji, and that's the most amazing thing that's happening, changing the people, changing the way they're connecting themselves to the mana, to the world, to the planet. And now that I'm talking to you, I'm connecting them to you, and connecting them to the awareness that everyone listening in is aware of. Introducing them to all these new ideas, and they can handle it because they are prepared from within, from the awareness within, and they can handle the new change because they fully understand that it's time, and the most advanced technology is their body, is their spiritual essence that's inside them. And in the future, you don't have to worry about anti-gravity, or because we'll be able to just go wherever we want just by thinking. And we'll use the same thing on the planes and all this, to be able to just control it with our own awareness from within. And that's the role of what the NI that is in the trust, natural intelligence, is to actually teach us this application. We don't have to worry about gravity and all these natures and the rules and laws of the physical four element, because the fifth element walks through everything. Once you figure out the fifth element, you can move it anywhere you want, anywhere, because everywhere is aware, just like the fifth element. So the no more anti-gravity trying to force yourself through physical things or air, or trying to force yourself and trying to move, or just force yourself just to try and levitate and all this. No more that. You just think and you will be there. That's the fifth element, and that's the technology of the future. And so there'll be no roads, there'll be no all these physical, like I call them, the force machine. Try to force yourself through the multidimensional plane, just by because you don't understand that the dimensional plane are aware just like you. And if you get connected to it, you can travel through any time, through any period. The only thing, it will take a little bit of learning, because if you travel to the past and you are in a different planet, or if you turn to the future in a different timeline, you will be shocked and you won't understand. And your body, totally different senses and totally different way of thinking. And you won't be able to. You will relearn like just like a small baby. But if you are connected to the awareness within, you will realize that you are multidimensional and you are all there. You are Pleiades, you are from Lyra, you are from all these different probabilities that are coming in. They are waiting for us because we are their past, the past that represent the freedom to them, and they are here not to just intervene and try to help us through our hardship and through our learning. They're here to just guide and protect the environment so that we can actually regenerate ourselves. And so this is what the agreement is. And so all this thing about anti-gravity and all these rules we create for ourselves, you don't need to create rules for multidimensional universe. You are the universe, and that's a very important learning that everyone will have to learn on their own. And how fast they can actually learn it, how slow they can learn it. Everyone will be given the spiritual or the spiritual essence of time that they create to be able to enable the DNA within them to interpret and make the awareness known on this understanding. And so yeah, it's gonna be a fun what you call this discovery, and you're discovering something that you used to know before, and so in that way you're just remembering it. And so this is what sovereignty really means. And so you will be realizing that you are connected. If you are, realize you think you get connected to the Pleiades, or you come from the Pleiades, it's just simple. You are all these probabilities in the future, and even though there are some negative probabilities, they also exist. So you can choose that road and learn that lesson. But we are doing a different one, and we're creating a new one that is totally new to all these other. Other futures that are coming from the past, from our future that's coming to their past, which is us. And so this, if you hear DANK, he will talk about how these probabilities has never been done before, because all those probabilities of Churis and all this probability of the Pleiades and all these other Aldebaran, the Orions, and all this, and they went through a cycle of very very harsh conditions of catastrophes and destruction, and then the collective had to learn from it, to run inside and run here, and then they had to get help. But with this agreement, none of that will happen, and this agreement is totally different. We're gonna actually just regain our sovereignty on our own and relearn to be to realize, to be self-aware, and to realize our multidimensional part of you. And there will be a lot of time to learn spirituality, and a lot of time that is going to be on our time to learn this. And so I'm thankful for it.
Yes, yeah. I'm also very thankful, to see that these things are all happening. In what way they were to come about, while I'm on my own path, following, how to make an abundance-based world, and journeying throughout Asia and all this, yeah, how do I know exactly what is the when we are going to arrive until now, right? It's now that things are now all coming together, all the different pieces fall into place.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're
even
here.
Yes. Even now, if you
a couple more days, okay, Tui, you can have a couple more days.
No, it's just it's called it's a DNA agreement. So it's time is moving very slowly, days and days. That's where I come from. There's no days like this. You don't have this night and day. And the focus now is free. You can move any now you want to move. But here we have to follow that now every moment in my body, going slowly forward, and it's fun. That way, it's fun. Yeah, and if you look at the probabilities, we're supposed to be in destruction right now. Oh, they were supposed to be chaos. Yeah, supposed to. Right now, there'll be no more people on the planet right now. There are people that will be saved, the animals. There will be people running underground, going to Earth, and people from Earth coming up and help them and do that. This was all the probabilities that has happened in the past, and all these 36,000 cycles that has been happening.
Interesting karma, because those people that went underground, when that laser, or not, sorry, the laser, but the space-based energy system that was used to create earthquakes and change the weather and all these kind of things, when it was taken over by the Patriots, they made a tone in the world as a symbol to say that it was a 17-second repeated pattern, right, that they did and went over, just to inform the world as, oh, Q has taken it over, right? 17 meaning Q. So that the system is now that they can't do that. But what we also heard that came out of that was that those underground places that the cabal went to, actually a lot of them got destroyed because it created earth and
Yeah.
brought those areas down. Now, I don't know if that's true, but that was just some of the things that were said. And that would be, karma in action.
And those are roles that that is actually in balance on the planet, and there are people that have those roles that they have to play. The physical, realigning the physical agreement, which is the land, and the agreement with the people that are trying to hold everything back. So I'm thankful for those for that those people are all involved, and just like just like what we're doing right now, they're just doing their role, and they adding value to the whole. And it's very interesting because I was talking with a lot of some people today, and they were asking me questions about spiritual questions about some of the some of the abnormalities, or what do you call in English, some things that are happening right now and they're facing. And this has to do with the spiritual energy for the people, the individuals that are born in the feminine and the masculine energy. Some people who are born men but has a female spiritual energy, the feminine ones, and on the other side masculine on the female body. So we had a really good discussion, because I told them that these are the way the spiritual planet actually balances itself through the karma out of the family, or of the land, of the people, and of the whole planet. So these beings, they have this gift, but they come here and they're not valued as they're supposed to be. And people, make fun of them, they swear at them because they are different. Orientation in not just physically, but the energy within them, the sexual energies. They might like the same sex. They might like want to change their body in a certain way, and all this. All of them are just playing the role of trying to balance the energy. And I talk specifically to all the chiefs about it, so that they have to understand that this is not their control. This is the control of the planet, and how everything that they have to learn how to love. That's how our love is learned to be expressed. And if you can love them if they're different from you, and if they're spiritually different from you. And so they've learned a very, a good lesson today. And I said, yeah, just imagine if you put yourself in their shoes, and there's going to be a lot of lessons that you're going to be learning. Now you're judging them and you're talking bad about them. You're trying to change them because it happens in the families when one of their children is feminine, and it actually degrades the the leader of the family, or the parent, the fatherhead, because of how these things. And then now when we talk about it, it actually heals them. They go back and they change their whole mindset on the whole thing. They judge them no more. They look up to them. They're so and these young children or adults now that are coming in to balance their energy, they are full of love, full of joy, but they've come in a very rough environment, negative environment, and they absorb it. They absorb this negative energy and they take it with them. They'll be crying. They'll be facing a lot of pressure, and then they will try to change, and then they will try to run away from home and do all these things to be able to absorb all those negative energy that ultimately balance the planet. And so we had a very, very good discussion because of these groups, the LTGB group, because it's for the culture. The native culture is quite new to them, and the way they treat people, it's like, and then you have the influence of Christianity and the Bible and all that. It's like a sin to be in that position. And if you're born in that way, then you're born sinners the whole time, and then you'll try to change and all that. I said, no. There's a lot of things you don't understand because you don't know who you are, and the first thing you have to learn is who you are truly, and that's what.
When I held my son first, when he was born, and there is no way that he's born a sinner.
Yes.
It just, I'm sorry, this is not sin.
I always tell them there is no way these dogs and these animals and these plants and all this. There's no way that this is this is illusion. If you can't see through the delusion, I'm sorry, you are just kidding yourself. And I know that it was allowed for you not to see it, but now it's time for you to wake up and look with your spiritual eye. And I had a very long lecture today, almost 4 hours. That's why I couldn't come online, because there's a lot of people. Now it's almost thousands of people that are coming in, and it just shows that the spiritual energy of the planet is ready, and that's everywhere in the world. I know wherever you are, who's listening in, and all the changes that are happening in your local places, all the amazing things that are happening. It's very powerful. It's very overwhelming sometimes, but it's amazing. But it's not surprising. It's just the way the planet has has brought about these changes, and all we do is just be thankful and then enjoy that moment of relearning all this lesson. And if you can guide slightly, you guide, and then create an environment where they can learn themselves. I don't fully tell them everything. I tell them you have to learn it on your own. They asked me about God. I said, I can't teach you about God. You will have to learn it on your own because He's inside you. And so, I think, yes?
You don't have a handbook on God?
No.
You can use?
The handbook is the body. And so they have to learn from it. So if they try to learn outside, then I'll still perpetuate that illusion of creation outside of the body. So I said, first thing you learn about who you are, how to control your body, eating, the digestion, your health, all this. Then you will learn who God is. And so that's what Jesus came and He just come and be the way. That's what He is. He's the way, the truth, and the life. And if you think that He's still there 2,000 years ago, is the way, truth, and life, and you still don't see it within your body, then I'm sorry. That was your problem, because you deceive yourself. And that's one of the great lessons that the chiefs here, and not the chiefs, the elders and the women and the children that are here, and they are learning that firsthand by me talking. And they're just because I'm teaching them about themselves. I'm not teaching them about something outside. And so they are changing. They are not angry anymore. They are not. They are controlled. Um, the sexual energy, they are able to control it. Today we were talking about that. That's why the feminine and the masculine energy topic came in. So they were able to understand the sexual part of the body. That it's a gift that you have to learn, that you have to understand. It grows every 7 years, and you have to learn all this. But if you focus on, if you focus on all the studies that you're doing in the universities and schools, and you don't learn about you, I'm sorry. When that thing comes, you have to take that lesson and learn it. And that's why we have a lot of problems of abortion and pedophilia and all this in the world, because people don't understand who they are. You think they look to a book to try and tell them who they are, and now no longer will be in that illusion anymore. We'll have to change because like you said, we are building it right now. We're building that future right now within us, and that's why we are talking and we're reconstructing the way they think, reconstructing the way they perceive their reality, and the way they actually make up their thoughts. That their thought creates the reality, which is ultimately creating the future that all of us are waiting for or are trying to create together. So yeah, we are doing a lot of reminiscing and fellowshipping and talking and encouraging. That's all we're doing. I'm just reminding. I'm not teaching them anything new. They've already been using their body all their life. I'm just trying to show them the connection within themselves, which is the mana, is the essence that is in everyone. It has been slightly lost, but not fully lost. That we can regain and ultimately regain that that English word you call sovereignty. And and so a lot of them, they're coming, they're giving thanks, they're changing, and I'm thankful, and they're listening to your shows. They watch the show, and it just reassured them on the path that we're actually doing, and they're learning from what we're talking, what we're discussing, learning from DANK, and the chance to actually go back and research on their own and all that. And they come back, hey, we found out about this, we found out about that. Wow, this has been happening for a long time, and we just know it. I said, yeah, it's just there's time for everyone to learn these things. So it's not a problem if you don't know it, then you'll know it next month. It's not a problem if you know it last week or last year. It's not a problem. All this is part of the change that's happening on the planet. So yeah, the planet is happy. I used to cry so many years ago because of the probability I could feel that the planet is going to. And I tell myself that as soon as I ask the planet, as soon as she tells me that this is the probability of destruction and all that, I'll be crying. And I said, okay, I will die with you, because that's how I was so connected to the planet.
How are you feeling now?
Oh, I don't want to say it out because everyone feels it, and so I will enjoy the path of how everything is working. First, I will have to discuss with the Kingdom of Mana the path that they will take, and then we will wait for what Kim is going to do with the letter. And a lot of people, if they read the letter, they don't understand that it does not only represent this land or in Fiji. No, it represents the whole planet. Because the physical, the words in Fijian, it means much deeper than you may think it means. When we say Vanua, that means we're talking about Mother Earth. We're not talking about just a small island. No, the letter actually represents the spiritual hierarchy of the whole like, for example, from my point of view, from my side. And that's how that's how we do things in Fiji. We can align, we can create an illusion, and we can put it. That's how we use the tambua. The whole planet can have one whale tooth, and so that's what we did with that letter. We did that in the future. So if people will be able to follow it or don't, we already cover, because it's part of my agreement as the masculine aspect of the Raga Confederacy. And even though people will not understand this yet, I'm just saying it out, just to just put it out there. It will make sense in the future. And And that's why I said about things yesterday, about how time begins here in Fiji. That means all the children that are born here in Fiji are the firstborn around the planet, and we know this as it's normal. Everyone in Fiji knows it. So we are like the what you call the firstborn of the fifth element that is chosen by the planet, and that's why we got this gate, this 12th gateway, and we are we are called the people of Mua, and that's why my village is Mua Levu. That's if you read the letter, the title of my title is Sauke Molevu. Sauke Molevu simply means the high chief of Molevu, or the priest chief of Molevu, which is Sau means firstborn in my language. So the firstborn of these 12 tribes is the Sau, and so that's what I represent. And if you'll be listening to what I'm saying the past few weeks, few days, you'll feel that authority that I represent. To be here in Fiji, just 33 years, it's not normal for people to be talking like me. It's just I was just born a little different, just like you then, and just like you, DANK. And yeah, and so I've already known this for all my life. I was not just allowed to talk until 4th of July last year, and that's why I showed you that that brochure about the manual holding trust that somebody made, and they used the date 4th of July because 4th of July is the first day. It's my birthday, and it's funny. And so that's my birthday, and all this will be affected by what the trust and the progression will happen. So it's not coincident or anything. It's just the way the world works, and it's just the way the fifth element naturally does things. And so so I'm thankful, and I'm blessed to have this opportunity to be talking about things that are not just personal to me, but personal to the land here in Fiji, personal to the planet, and some of the awareness that that people will be able to make sense of some of the things they've been knowing in the past, some of the things that they've been learning. They've been wondering what it truly means. But like I said in the first few days that I was talking, it's really simple, so simple. If you try to calculate it, just complicate everything. It's very simple.
Tui, I'm just sharing the screen to show this where it has your birthday. Basically the 4th of July, 2019. Global news. Mono World Holding Trust to help humanity. Mono World Holding Trust funds to be released once the Rothschilds are stopped. Thomas Williams, the spokesman for the foundation, confirmed in Global News that the main problem to hold up regarding the release of the trust funds are well known. Family of the Rothschilds. Anyway, I just shared the screen so everyone knows what you're talking about. This was created by someone. Tank said, one of their people created this, so it was not something that was. It's not. It was just made up, right? But it's a creation, right? Pegging the date.
Yes. Yeah. So 4th of July is very interesting. It's in the US you have that 4th of July, the celebration of independence. Yeah. So that's the first day I was actually in 1985. 4th of July is the first day I leave this planet. I was here. I was born on the 3rd. 4th of July is my first creation day, and so it's the first time I've ever been here, and I'm thankful. All these things might be coincidence and all that, but once you speak the language of the fifth element, there will be no coincidence to you. And that's if you're figuring out synchronicity and everything coming into your life in this way. As soon as you come here, it changes, and as soon as you want something, it comes. As soon as these are all what the fifth element is. And it simply means that you are connecting and you're speaking that one language that everything speaks. And eventually this language becomes stronger. You'll be able to connect to the animals. Whatever you need, they will give you. You'll be connected to the planet. Whatever you need, the planet will give you through time. And this is been talked about. A lot of people have been talking about it the law of attraction and all these. It's simple. The fifth element is in everyone. As soon as you get connected into it, you will ride the wave of the fifth element. You can just think and you'll be anywhere. All these technologies are coming in. I'm thankful to the Galactic Federation the Galactic Federation of they call themselves the Galactic Federation of Light. I'm thankful to the people of inner Earth of the way they're waiting and patiently waiting for everyone to wake up and not intervening. Thankful to everyone that has agreed to the agreement of peaceful transition. I'm thankful to the Draco people, to the people that have been involved in, in these people, the Men in Black and all these people. There's a lot of probabilities that's already here that they're trying to manipulate things in the past, but now no longer, because they truly understand the role of the physical being on the planet, of regaining their own sovereignty. So once they understand that, they promise to actually look after the environment. They'll be controlling. There won't be any wars of nuclear or this catastrophe. Those kind of how big that pole shift and all this. They're trying to shift the planet slowly until it sits in the normal axis, and then they will be doing that. There are scientists that they will be doing that. They just specialize in all that. There's no longer, all these people, they'll be arrested and all this secretly done, unknown to the people. I'm thankful to the sun. It's, it's not active like before. It's getting normal. And so as soon as the planet is aligned properly, the sun will be able to fully have the capability to, do what it's supposed to do. And the moon and the people that controls the moon and all that, the people that are in the secret space program, I'm thankful for them for the way they, because they're all part of this planet and they're learning to, to be able to understand the transition that we are facing. And even though some of them will not accept it now, but eventually they will see that their role is also important in all these changes. And I'm thankful to everyone, the team, Kim, DANK, thankful to the small group that we have right now. Thankful to all the other groups that are there, the alternate medias and all these people that have been involved in disclosure. Thankful to all of them, even though sometimes we fight against each other and we try to point fingers and we say, but there are roles that you won't understand, that you must learn to understand your own. And so if you do that, you will never point fingers, and you'll see that as a whole, we're all working together for peace. And I'm thankful to everyone, everywhere in the planet, all the sovereign people of Earth, on the role that they're playing, whatever lesson that you might be learning, that you have agreed. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, the planet thanks you. And yeah, from the Collective.
Oh, thank you. Thank you from the Rock Collective. Thank you too.
Blessing and love.
Blessings, love. And it's a good place to call this the end of this broadcast. And I would like to thank all of you for participating and join in on live streaming. And we're going to be doing this again tomorrow. We're going to keep rolling with it, and we'll hear back from Tank and see what happened with his meeting with the Tesla group, and that will be a fantastic thing. I want to put out one. Yes.
Sorry, go ahead. No, I just want to thank the people of Hawaii and the rest of the Pacific, especially the chiefs in Hawaii right now. They're in the transition period of realizing the mana and reorganizing, and they've come together as a united, as one people. And because they're in the front line, being involved with the United States and the corporations, they've learned so much for the past 100 years, more than 100 years. Just like anywhere else in the world, we've gone through the same lesson, but in different ways. That is known to us. And so, shout out to the Aloha spirit that is part of the people and is part of the natives and is part of the priest of Mu, that I call them, that is there in Hawaii and also here in Fiji and in Tonga, Samoa, and the rest of the Pacific. Thank you so much, you people in the future. Once you realize yourself, and then you may be listening to this now, but wherever you are, what time you'll be, Thank you so much for your love and the blessings that you've brought to the planet.
Yes, thank you. And you know, my friend from Hawaii, Nate, also sent me a lot of information about how Hawaiian names are chosen, and so that was also very interesting. So, yeah, thanks everyone. Remember, we're all together one. We're strong together. Let's come together and let's make our new grand illusion of abundance.
Indeed.
Indeed. All right. Bye bye, everybody.